4th of 2021. I'm Mayor Diana Broderson, and welcome to our city. We have a great show today. We're going to show you all kinds of things. And before we get going, though, I wanted to give just a couple of quick announcements. First of all, on the COVID home front, we've had 36 positive cases this past week, which is less than last week. You know what? The last 4 weeks, it's gotten lower and lower and lower. And I know we're all so thankful for that. We did have 2 new deaths again this week, though, in Muscatine County. So prayers go out for their families and loved ones. But hopefully we're on a really good path. Next, I'd like to share that not this coming Saturday, but the next Saturday is Coffee with the Mayor at the Golf Course Clubhouse. That's going to be rounding out our agenda of Coffee with the Mayor's places this whole year. We've done it at the different shelters in the parks in Muscatine, and kind of doing a dual duty of having an opportunity for us to sit and visit and showing off our fabulous parks that we have here in Muscatine. And now this one is going to be one that is utilized by a lot of people, but the same people over and over. So I think there might be a lot of people who have never been to our golf course or clubhouse. So I think this will be a really good opportunity for us. And it'll be inside, so we won't be freezing. So that'll be a good thing. So I hope you can join me, not this Saturday, but the following Saturday on the 13th, 9 a.m. Next, I heard from Senior Resources. They're still trying to get the word out on a few things. Number one is their SHIP program. So the SHIP program is Senior, let me get the acronym right, Senior Health Insurance Program, and also the chore workers. So it looks like the chore workers flyer is up. So let's talk about the chore workers first. I know we've talked about that over the last couple of weeks, and Senior Resources looks for either volunteers or paid workers and hooks them up all winter to do snow removal for our seniors. So if you're interested in that, you can be a youth. You can, they'll even give you silver cord hours if you're looking for something like that. But there's still a lot of slots open that we need to get filled before the snow flies. We need to make sure that we have arrangements made to help these folks be able to stay in their own homes. And we know that that's critical for a lot of people. Now let's talk about the SHIP program, the Senior Health Insurance Program. Every year they have an open enrollment period, kind of just like for Medicare, like they do for our insurance where we work. So the open enrollment period right now ends December 7th. And if you're like me, there is so much to try to figure out that it can be overwhelming on which plan should I go to? Should I use this one? Should I go to D or B or A or what have you? Well, Senior Resources have people under their employ that will sit down and do a one-on-one with you and look at your situation individually and help you find out which one of the plans would be the best benefit for you. So that open enrollment period ends December 7th. You've got a month to call them 263-7292, set up an appointment and make sure that you are on the best plan that's going to help you. So big shout out to them for this, because what a service. I have trouble navigating some of that stuff sometimes. There's all these details and a lot of stuff that we might not know about, and we don't need to waste our brain cells on it when they can help us navigate and point us in the right direction. So call them if you can help volunteer or get a paid job with them, shoveling snow for our seniors, or if you need help looking at your insurance. I don't think it's a bad idea to look every year. Your situations change sometimes, and it's a good idea to put some fresh eyes on there and make sure that you're getting the best bang for your buck. So without further ado, though, let's get talking about our main guest this week. We have Kevin Jenison with us, and he is the marketing. What is your actual title?
The main title is communications manager, but I'm also the public information officer. I do marketing for the city and each of the departments. So I'll answer to anything, as long as it's in a good way.
Well, welcome, and thank you so much for joining us. One of the things that we talk about all the time is making sure that we get the public knowing what's really going on within the city. And you would think that that'd be an easy feat, but it's really not, is it?
No, it's not, and it's a lot of it is because people use different techniques to find out the information. We do have a lot of senior citizens who are not computer savvy, so it takes a little bit different way to get that information to them, and they have a lot of questions at times. But for the most part, social media does a really good job of getting our message out, and we try to guide people to our website whenever possible.
Yep. It is interesting how people get information into their homes and lives and through all these different buckets, in a different variety of ways. I like my parents, they don't do any kind of computer or smartphones or anything like that, but they read the paper every night. So we can't give up on the newspaper. We can't give up on the radio. Some people listen to the radio or watch cable TV. So
yep, that's true.
It's all different, and they all have their buckets of people.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
I remember growing up, sitting in front of the radio, listening to the news with my family, and of course, I grew up in a newspaper family, so I'm there. I was reading newspapers almost every day, and still do to this day.
Mm-hmm.
So I wish it was a better source of information today. People just kind of navigate away from it, but I'm glad it's still here for those who need it. And we still have our local radio stations that broadcast the information, and I'm happy for them too.
Yep. Well, getting the newspaper every day, the Journal in Muscatine, we've gotten it our whole lives. We still get it at our house, but it always was an afternoon paper. And, that was kind of the highlight of the day, is the paper here yet, and everything you ever wanted to know about Muscatine was in the Muscatine Journal.
That's
we
right.
sit up there and scan through everything. And almost every kid in Muscatine at one time had a paper route. So that's a big part of our history here in Muscatine. And I, like you, am glad that it's still going.
Yeah.
So we know we have the Journal, the newspaper, and we know we have the radio, but there's a lot to talk about when it comes to social media and getting information out, isn't there?
That's true. For the city of Muscatine, we have our own Facebook page. We also have Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. Those are the main tools that we use. But each of our departments, or at least some of them, have their own Facebook page, and some have their own Twitter page. It's a great way for them to access the public and get the information to them also. Mm-hmm. It's kind of interesting how putting that information out on social media is a little bit different than just writing a news release and sending it out to the media. People like it short, they like it concise, at least the information, so they know whether they want to read it or not. They don't want to take too much time. So you try to make that first little statement interesting enough that they dive into it. And of course, the biggest thing we try to do is guide them back to our website, which is where all the information is anyway.
Yep. And if you ever, let's talk about the website for a bit. I know if you go to the very front page of the website, then you can find all the different things. Sometimes the stuff will be I think it's all across the top, isn't it? There you go. That's our main page. The main page,
and of course, across in the blue bar, the very first one, it says government, and that's where you can access all the various different departments within the city of Muscatine. They each have their own page.
And so you can go on there and then click on any of those.
You can click on any of those. For example, if you want to go to Public Works, it's down there toward the bottom. It's all alphabetical. So you just click on that and you'll get Brian's lovely picture up there as the director of Public Works. And
so what kind of things could we find okay, so there's Public Works.
Right. So on the left-hand side of this page, you'll notice that there's a lot of different categories, different options that you can click on to find more information. The main one I think that people are mostly interested in is the construction project page. which features our major projects going on right now.
There we go. Yep. So you can click to here and then find the project that you're interested in learning more about.
Right. And since we're getting into the new fiscal year and new budget cycle, we'll be adding those projects that we're kind of looking at for the next 2022 construction season here in a little bit. Of course, fortunately, we have two major projects that have come to almost a close, Park Avenue and 2nd Street streetscape. So those kind of get cycled out once they close up, but the information's still there under completed projects. I hope it's still there anyway. But the two biggies right now, of course, are the West Hill and Grandview, and we try to keep that updated as much as possible. Sometimes there's not really a lot of information because of the weather or just nothing much has been happening, but it's there for people to access.
Sure. Well, one of the questions I get all the time, and I'm sure you always do too, and I know Brian does, is about potholes. So people call and say, when are you going to fix the, pool-sized pothole? Where would they go to report a pothole?
Well, on the left-hand side of our main page, you'll see several green buttons, and one of them says,
go back to the main. Is that what you mean? Okay, there we go.
Yeah, the green buttons there's those are some of our quick links. One of them says notify me.
Okay, we'll click on notify me and we'll see what we get here. There we go.
And it takes you to a page that has several different categories, several different topics. I think it still does require you to subscribe with your email address.
Okay, like have an account.
Like having an account, yes. But then you can scroll down through that and find the issue that you're talking about, in this regards, potholes. And should be there somewhere.
Where there's all kinds of things you can notify about.
Yep. And we add to it and take and delete some of the old ones. At least monthly is what we try to do. Try to keep it more up to date.
Sure. So, and a lot of people I find, and as I navigate around, people will call me but they'll say they don't really want to call me. Isn't there just somewhere I can just do? And this is that other somewhere, isn't it? They can go enter it themselves and then they know it's done.
Right.
Okay.
And that's one way that people can do it. And the other way is that we have two specific email accounts for people that want to send us messages. One is feedback@muscatineiowa.gov, which goes directly here to the administration part of it. Then we kind of distribute it to who needs it. The other one is pwrequest@muscatineiowa.gov, and that goes straight to the Public Works Department.
Okay. Where would they find a link to click on that?
Those should be on the website somewhere, and I can't, to the life of me, I can't tell you exactly, but they're there.
Maybe even on the right-hand side of when you go to Public Works, under Brian's picture or something, maybe there's a link over there that could be.
And you could always send Brian an email too. His email is listed there for sure. Any of our department heads are more than willing to receive email from the public and then respond to those emails.
And I've heard that all the time, I called them and they helped to walk me through the problem, and that's what I tell people, go right to the source.
That's right. I think our staff is very proud of the fact that they are very concerned and connected with the citizens of Muscatine. From top to bottom, they are very into helping them. And our goal is, if you have a question or concern, we want to respond within 24 hours or less, at least to let you know that we know what's your concern or problem. and we'll find a solution for you.
Yep. And there might be a variety of choices, but you're right. It doesn't mean that we can fix it within 24 hours. But we
Right.
can let you know, okay, it's noted, we're working on it. Let's see what we can find out and we'll get back to you. And I agree with you and love so much that we're accessible to the community.
Yep. And to go a little bit beyond that, we are working on a new project with our website developer. It's called Seek, Click, Fix, which is a more easily readable, user-friendly mobile device that can be used on your mobile device to connect with each department. It sends it straight to that department. They have automatic responses from each of the departments saying, so that as filing that concern, when we received it, when the response was, and we can track that too, so that we can make sure that our people are responding quickly as possible.
And, I always think that helps, to have that data too. We got
that's true.
2,500, requests, and they were responded to within this amount of time, and this is what the outcomes were. And that's what the people don't care about all of the other things. They just want to make sure that they're being heard and that we're listening, and they were able to share with us, and we got back to them.
And certainly, and the analytics do help us improve our responses to the people.
Yep, it sure does. And it lets people know too that somebody's actually knows and is working towards it.
Yep.
We do that, with the machine broken down too. We know it's broken, we ordered a part, it's expected on this day, and then you just put it on there, and then people are like, oh, okay. They just want to know, that somebody's working on it.
That's right.
It's not just been forgotten. And so, I've always tell people too, they can get to the agendas and the minutes for all the meetings, as well as a link to the YouTube page that we have, and watch any meeting. That's
one of the fascinating things I get to do right now anyway, is since we went from in-person meeting to virtual meetings to kind of hybrid. I still get to run those go-to-meetings, the virtual part of it. And I also get to make sure that the YouTube page is operating the way it should. So I can sit there and watch the YouTube page. I can listen to the go-to-meeting part of it. It's a different way to attend these meetings, but you still get the information. And that, I think, is the biggest thing for the council and staff, is letting them know what we are concerned about and what we are doing about it.
Yeah. Well, and that's what all of Iowa works on, is making sure that the public information is out there. I have the most fun each year bringing in the students from middle school and talking to the sixth graders about city government and why we're here, and it all boils down to we're here to serve the public, and so all of the different ways that you help get the information from City Hall out to the public is so appreciated. And I know often, they always say knowledge is power, and sometimes that's all people want to know. Once, they might think, oh, well, why isn't this way? But when you can get the information and then they can see the reasons why this is this way, they're okay, I get that. That makes sense. I understand that. And that's what we want to make sure we do. Explain.
I think we've come a long way in the last several years.
Oh, wow. Yes.
To attain those goals. And we're not stopping there. We're going to keep working hard to communicate with our citizens and listen to them, and devise plans that meet their needs as well as our future needs.
Yep. So tell me a little bit about the Twitter and Instagram. That's something I know very little about. How does that work?
Well, Instagram is part of Facebook, but it's more for the use with photography, not so much as sharing your feelings, which is kind of what Facebook is, sharing information. So it's more geared toward landscape pictures, pictures of family gatherings or groups. I use it to show pictures of Muscatine, things going on, kind of use it to help push people to our website too, because there's a link in our bio for that. Twitter is kind of like the stepsister of all the social medias. It hasn't progressed as quickly as the others, and in some ways has fallen backwards. But it's still, for those who want a quick burst of information, that's the venue to go to.
So how often a day do you do a Twitter?
My goal is to at least post something once a day. I don't always get to that.
Sure.
And then there's days where I'll post 3 or 4 different things. But I'm always looking for a bit of information or a photo, something going on with the city that might interest people. Recently, I put a picture up of the new season greetings banners up on 2nd Street, and one that says welcome. So I said, welcome to Muscatine. So it kind of goes together with the 2nd Street downtown area. So
oh, sure,
those things you just have to take some time and go out and look for it. It's there.
Yep. So the Twitter, is that more like 1 or 2 sentences?
Basically, yeah. It's they say your limit is 140 characters, so you have to learn very quickly how to say everything you want to say in 140 characters. That's a tool that newspaper people use when they write leads to their stories.
Oh.
And so it's just picked up by Twitter, which is kind of interesting. When I was an instructor at a college in Indiana, I used that module to teach my students how to write leads. 140 characters or less. You got to tell me what's in that story. So
sounds like writing a grant. They always want to know everything in 1 page or less.
That's true.
Like, oh my gosh, how can I? And you learn creative ways to shorten things and cut out that's and thes and try to get it all concise. But that's our world now.
Yeah.
Just give me the skinny. I don't want all the details right now. And later, if I do, I can go look. But they just want the headlines, don't they?
That's right. So that's what.
So
that's
busy.
it.
Yep. Everybody's so busy, but want to be informed.
That's true.
Yep. So the main things, it sounds like, really are the website, the YouTube, Facebook page. And do you still put stuff in the newspaper and radio then?
Yes, I send releases to the various media, newspapers, television stations, the radio stations. We have a lot of good media here in town that will pick up on the stuff that I send them, and these people will also use that to create their own stories, which kind of gives us, here we are publicizing Muscatine, and they're backing us up by writing other stories of, just makes Muscatine look really good.
Yeah, it sure does. And I still know we can always continue to, do better and better and better, because there's still people that, well, one example was, when is trick or treat in Muscatine? We must have all said it 1,000 times, but still there were people that didn't get that until the last minute. And I still got, a ton of calls on October 31st saying, what time is trick or treat? But so that just tells us we've got to just continue getting it out.
Well, nobody's ever said you don't have to just say it once. Sometimes you have to say it 2 or 3 times. So
that's right. And in 2 or 3 different ways.
That's true.
Yep. I think we all absorb information when we're ready too. If I don't need to know that right now, I'll save it. But later, when I do want to know it, I want to find it right now. And you do such a great job of keeping it out there. And I know it's a go-to for me all the time to go to the city's Facebook page and scroll down through press releases. Mostly anything you want to know about, go to the city's Facebook page and scroll down till you find the press release that's talking about what you want to know. And I guarantee you, 99% of the time, there'll be a press release out there explaining just what
Yep.
you want to know.
Well, that's my goal, is to make sure that the people understand what we do and how we do it and how we can help.
Yep. Well, you have, Kevin, one of those jobs that's behind the scenes and people don't see you a lot, but yet it's critical for the community. And can't thank you enough for all that you do to keep the word out and the information right in front of the people.
Well, it's been my lifelong passion to be in this field, and I enjoy it from the morning till the night. And it's always a pleasure, especially with Muscatine. You know, I fell in love with this town the first time I came here, and anything I can do to help promote this town in its future, I will more than happy to.
Love it. Was there something we didn't talk about that you do that we should highlight?
Well, let's see. I work with John Cruisenstein on the website, so we have that. Other than the releases, we're going to be getting more into video production later on, and see how that goes. And there's just a lot of different things, things I have my hands into. But it all boils down to putting Muscatine's best foot forward, and that's what we're all about.
Yep. And I will say, earlier this year, you helped tremendously with the first State of the City address we've ever done. And it was amazing, and a lot of the credit goes to you. Well,
it was long overdue and much needed, and especially at that time when our citizenry was very worried about the COVID pandemic and the effects of what it was doing to our lives and the city's future. And that was a very positive step forward to helping people recover.
Yeah. And it gave us the opportunity to highlight all the wonderful things going on in each one of the departments in the city, because we have so much going on, and so much good done in each one of our departments that it would take books to fill to share it all, but it gave us an opportunity to toot our own horn for all the great things that went on, even during the pandemic.
That's true. And I have always been amazed that of all the towns in Iowa, and in fact in this area, Muscatine seemed to have dealt with the pandemic better than any other community. I think that says a lot to our elected officials, to the staff, to the citizens themselves, to the business leaders who were well prepared for something like this. And I can't say enough for our small business people. I mean, for what they did and how they survived, and they are still here with us. And
amazing.
It is
and big thanks to the city for coming up with a way to help them, on the fly. The small business forgivable loan, we were able to get out to them within days. To help, and that relationship means a great deal.
Yes, it does.
Sure does. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Kevin. I really appreciate it. And I know that your email is out there on our website, and I think they can even catch you through our Facebook page. So they can reach out to you for any questions, and you'll help navigate them to the right spot.
Yes, I will.
All right. Thank you so much, Kevin.
And I just want to say thank you to you for your years of service to the city, and for everything that you've done to help Muscatine grow and be a better place to work, live, and raise a family. I thank you very much.
Thank you, Kevin. That means a great deal to me. It's been my pleasure to serve the people of Muscatine. I appreciate it.
I hope in some way you continue your efforts.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And thanks to all of you for joining us today. We hope that you will join us we have a city council meeting tonight. And as Kevin said, it's going to be hybrid. So you can join virtually, You can find the agenda with the instructions for logging on the city's Facebook, or I'm sorry, the city's website, or you can join in person. And we'd love to have you join us at 7 p.m. tonight. Big thanks to Kevin for joining us today and sharing all the ways that the city strives continually to get communications out to the people in Muscatine. Have a great rest of your day. Please remember that next week we do not have an Our City show or a city council meeting. It is Veterans Day, and as such, City Hall will be closed. Have a great week, and we hope to see you here in 2 weeks on Our City. Goodbye.